Hello and welcome to Book Lovers Companion, the podcast about books, authors, their craft and more. I'm your host Edith, and joining me for this episode is returning guest and author Twila Mason. Hello Twila and welcome back to the show. It's been a while.
It has. I'm glad to be back.
And it's lovely to have you back. And as I said before we hit record, you have been a very busy bee, haven't you?
Yes, very. It's been a little chaotic, but yeah.
And we are here to talk about book number 2 in your Desperate Hearts book series, so to speak. It's called Step by Step. And I would say, tell our listeners a little bit what it is all about, please.
Yes. So we meet Chrissy in book 1, and I won't say exactly who she is in book 1 because it's some spoilers for book 1. But we meet her in book 1, and so book 2 is her happily ever after. And I heard from a lot of people after they read book 1 that they really wanted to know what happened with Chrissy. And so I was happy to tell them that whenever book 2 came out, they would know. So we meet her, and her life's kind of at a standstill. In book 1, she's really going through some stuff. And by the time book 2 starts, she has worked really hard to get herself into a much better place mentally and physically, but she's still not happy. You know, things are just kind of stagnant and she feels stuck. But then she gets a phone call that she was chosen as the artist to paint a mural for the city of Chicago. And so that feels like a huge first step in the career that she wants, because she really wants to be an artist. But everybody knows making a living at being an artist is not easy. And especially whenever you've had the start to life that she had. So she gets this big break, and then she gets to the job site, and lo and behold, her boss is a handsome and charming Adam Rochester, and they're in a workplace. So it's a workplace romance, and there's a lot on the line for her for this job. She has to get it right, because if she doesn't, then she might as well kiss her career goodbye of her hopes and dreams of being an artist. And Adam's job is on the line as well. So the whole book is them fighting their attraction to each other because they don't want to put their jobs at risk. But then over time, they find out that they both have things in their past that they're not proud of. And it's them coming together and figuring out that they do want to be together.
Okay, it's a road we have to follow. Your readers have to follow. And for those who haven't read book 1, could they read book 2 as a standalone in case they just want to read book 2 first because of this after listening to the podcast?
Yes. So they are interconnected, but they're standalone stories. Each book in this series is a complete story, but I guess the plus side is they all have similar characters sprinkled throughout in places. And so you kind of have little Easter eggs that if you just read one of them, you might not pick up on the Easter egg, but it's not going to affect the story.
Exactly. And it's also fun to, I suppose, when you start with 2 and read 1 and to find out a little bit about what happened before that as well. I mean, some people do that. I know that. Yeah. Splendid.
Yeah.
So you would you say that Adam and Chrissy, they need to go on that journey together because they both have a past they have to overcome. So there's something that is a thing that could put them together, bind them together in a way.
Yeah, they both have things that they're ashamed of in their past, and things that make them feel like they're not good enough and like, they don't deserve happily ever after. And the good thing about them coming together is they kind of bring that out in each other.
Mm.
They become a safe place for each other accidentally almost. They don't set out trying to get closer to each other, they just can't help it.
Mm.
And they help each other overcome their insecurities about their
Mm.
pasts.
Mm. And what about the psychological aspect of writing these characters? I mean, dealing with people who were substance abusers and people who had a troubled past. Is it something you did research? Did you dive into, I don't know, conversations or books that gave you a better idea how to write those characters to do them justice?
Yeah, so it was a combination of things. I did a lot of research as far as the process for recovering addicts
Mm.
because I wanted to get that right. I wanted to avoid any bias or common stereotypes
Mhm.
and that kind of thing. And I wanted to make sure to paint it in a positive light because
Yeah.
people that go through recovery like that, it's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be ashamed of their past. They might not like what they did, but they were strong enough to overcome that. So I did a lot of research and like on halfway houses and,
Mhm.
programs that are available and things like that. But as far as like getting into the mentality of it, unfortunately, I see a lot of that where I'm from.
Mm.
Here in Southeast Missouri,
Mm.
there's an epidemic.
Oh.
There's opioids and methamphetamines, there's a lot of that. And some people that I know personally have gone through that, and I've seen some recover and I've seen some not. And so I don't know. I can watch someone go through something and I can kind of put myself in their shoes and
Mhm.
imagine, if that was me, how would that feel? And so a lot of it was being observant to
Mhm.
things around me and then things whenever I needed to, knowing when I needed to fill in the blanks with some
Yeah.
research.
Yeah. And is it a question of a certain socioeconomic situation that leads people into substance abuse, would you say? Or is it things that happen to people within a family, for example? Because I know in our family, I mean, my father's cousin, his first wife, was um, she was an alcoholic. I mean, she got sober as
Mhm.
well for years and years, but she started drinking because she was left alone. She had 3 kids, and she had to care for her grandfather who was ill. So there was a lot of pressure and a lot of strain, and to
Yeah.
escape this situation.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of different things. Like, honestly, no one is immune to addiction,
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of reasons, but around here, there is a socioeconomic impact
Mm.
that factor in that for sure.
Mhm.
There's a lot of low income areas,
Mhm.
and there's also, you know, the trauma aspect for Chrissy. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
She had a really hard start to life, and so she didn't really know any better,
Mhm.
honestly, and you just kind of fall into whatever can kinda numb the pain a little bit.
Mhm. And you said a lot of people asked you about Chrissy after reading book number one, and we said again before we started recording, you have been busy, as I mentioned. And what was going on? Because I saw on your socials you have been busy promoting your book number one. And how hard is it,
Mhm.
or how intense is it as an indie author to do exactly that?
Oh, marketing is a beast, like, it's the hardest part. If I could just write a bunch of books and crank them out and not have to worry about the rest of it, like, that would be, the dream. But I do love, though, getting to interact with readers. My favorite part of marketing is doing, like, podcasts and events and interviews and stuff like that because I love talking to people about it. I've met some really great people that way. But as far as social media, you have to cherry pick what you want to focus on because it can become so overwhelming so fast. Because with social media, there's, over a dozen apps that everybody says you have to be on there. Everybody says you need to make TikToks, which I'm not the best at. I'm great with pictures. I've been taking pictures my whole life. I have like 40,000 pictures on my phone. I can take a picture, but video content is daunting for me. I've tried my hand at it a little bit here and there, but I'm not consistent enough to, have a video go viral or something like that. But, it's hard. And there's also a pay to play aspect to it. If you want to get in front of people who don't follow you on social media, then you have to figure out ads, either Facebook ads or Amazon ads or something. And it's really overwhelming. I've watched so many tutorials and, I've attended online conferences where and everybody has a different theory. So then you get all this information about how to market and you have to figure out, what works for you, and it's trial and error.
Yeah, tell me about it. And my advice would be, since I think you do have pets, don't you?
Yes, lots.
Yes. So that's the best way to make a video go viral. Put them somewhere
Yeah.
next to you in the background. The only videos on my channel that really went viral are the ones with the cats in them, or other animals.
People love cats.
Yes, exactly, absolutely. That's the best way to promote your books. Just
Yes.
start with the animals, then put in your books, and then
I've noticed all my pictures that have my cats in it. I'll have like 50 likes, in a day, and then I post my book like 5.
They are your best promoters, believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. And you said again, your readers asked for more about Chrissy. And was it really just your readers, or did you plan for it in advance, or did you say I wanted to write something else, but it turns out she was such an interesting character for my readers that I decided to do her?
Yeah, so I actually, by the time book 1 came out, I had already submitted book 2 to my publisher. So I had planned on it.
Okay.
Actually, whenever I started writing, I didn't plan on doing a series. Because I thought, well, gosh, that sounds daunting. Again, I didn't think that I could do it. But then I wrote book 1, and then I wanted to know the rest of Christy's story. I wanted to see her be better, and I wanted to see her get a happily ever after. So I was like, well, I guess I have a series. And so I wrote her book. And then there's a character we meet, Lily, in book 2, which is Chrissy's long lost best friend. And book 3 is actually Lily's story. It goes a little bit backwards in time, before she reunited with Chrissy. And it's her story. And whenever I was writing book 2, I was like, okay, well, now I want to know what happened with Lily. So my curiosity, and I guess it lines up with readers' curiosity whenever they read the books too. So that's good. I'm on the same page.
Yes, I can understand that, because it's also something that happened to me, or happens to me as a reader occasionally, not always, but sometimes with book when I think, oh, that's an interesting character, I would like to know more about this one. And I always hope authors feel the same. They often do, they often don't, and we can only hope. So book 3 was also sort of in your head when you were writing book 1.
Whenever I was writing book 1, I just had book 2 planned.
Okay.
But it actually, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
So I wrote, from the time I wrote book 1 till it published, it was 4 years. And so I was able, by the time that one was in edits and the final, like, phases of edits,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to go back and add in Lily's Bakery, um, for, like, all their instances where they had cakes and stuff,
Mm.
and I was able to add those parts into book 1 because I already had them eating cake, but whenever I realized I wrote book 2 and I was like, I really wanna write book 3 about Lily and her, she owns a bakery, then I was like, I can go back and all
Mm-hmm.
those places where they have cake in book 1, it's from her bakery, and so, I could tie them together better that way. So I was really glad that I kind of had them all in the works at the same time, because if I would have written 1 and then let that be complete before I started the 2nd, I wouldn't have been able to tie them in as well.
Mm. Mm. And regarding your writing process, because when you write, as you said, a series, it's daunting, or it can be daunting.
Yeah.
Uh, how do you keep track of events? Because sometimes it feels as if authors started when they wrote and they introduce a character, and as you said, you sort of put her into book 1 because you were editing and so on. Uh, was there also the challenge of having loose threads? Because sometimes, as I said, authors start with a character or a situation or information, and then you think as a reader, wait a minute, hmm, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, I suppose it's a huge challenge for an author as well, but in one book. But given you wanted to write more than one book and already had
Mhm.
in your head book 2 when you wrote book 1, and now you are writing book 3. So how do you keep track, and how do you make sure you stay consistent?
Yeah, so there's been a couple instances actually in writing book 3 and 4 where I had to go back and change things because I'm like, "Wait, I can't have that happen because it doesn't make sense." And so there's a lot of referring back. I've been opening my old files for book 1 and 2 so I can do, control find, and I can do a search for the information that I need, because sometimes it's like, "Wait, what color of eyes did he have in that one?" And so I've had to change some things and I have to find a workaround. And I have this notebook where I have all the things that I've discussed with my editors for each book, and I have, um, like, everybody's age written down, like, "Okay, this person, in book 1, they're this age, in book 2, they're this age." It's kind of my Bible for my series because it's a lot, and there's been so many times where I get mad at myself because 'cause I'm like, "Well, now since I wrote that in book 2, it's making book 3 harder," because I gotta make things work, right?
Well, I can imagine, and as I said, sometimes authors, or it's my impression, sometimes authors even struggle within one book. And when you
Yeah.
write a series, especially when you, as you said, the characters and the stories are interwoven in a
Mhm.
series, it's even harder to keep track of all your different threads, and where do they go, and how do I put them in the correct order and do not get
Yeah.
mixed up. And
Yeah.
doing marketing as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets to be a lot, yeah, and I have so many lists
Yeah.
and notebooks with
Mm.
different things and, spreadsheets, for the marketing part, like, it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, I can imagine. And did I hear that correctly? There might also be a book number 4 in the making
Yes,
sometime in the
so
future.
I am waiting, for my content edits back on book 4. So,
Already.
yeah, yeah, it's already in the works, and I was planning, I had ideas for characters for 2 more books, but I was talking with my editor, and she said whenever she read book 4, it felt like the end of the series because
Mm.
everything kind of gets tied together
Mhm.
and nice little bows, and she said like if I sprinkle in a couple things, then it could just wrap up everybody's stories and be, nice and complete. And I kind of agree, but I think instead of having books 5 and 6, I'm thinking about making them novellas because
Okay.
one of the characters we meet in book 2, Ruth, is Lily's friend, and I have an idea of a story for her, but I'm not sure if it's enough of a story,
Mm,
for a full novel.
yeah.
But I also, I have that little story for her and how her and her husband came to be.
Mm,
So that might come out as a novella.
mm. Okay. I mean, what is the supposed length of a novella? How much can you put in the novella?
Well, it depends on who you ask, but
Mm,
they're usually around like 30 to 50,000 words. And my novels are closer to like 80 to 90,000.
mm,
So it'd be half, about
mhm,
half the length.
mhm. Okay. So I've asked you a little bit about this whole process of keeping track of all your characters and so on. So uh, well, we're talking about book 2 now. So what would you say was the biggest challenge or the hardest part for you to write in book 2? And what would you say was the most uplifting part to write?
I think the hardest part was probably the recovery aspect of it because I really wanted to make sure I got that right. And I had a lot of back and forth with my editor, where I liked running things by her and just double checking, getting multiple sets of eyes on things just to make sure because I really didn't want to offend anybody, the recovery and the mental health aspect of it. I didn't want to offend anyone. I didn't want to feed into a stereotype or anything like that. But I also wanted to keep it gritty. I wanted to keep it realistic because it's not all rainbows and butterflies whenever you go through something like that. Um, so that was the hardest part, I think, just making sure that I got that tone right for that. And I think the most fun part was just seeing her and Adam be so good for each other, And I know, like, I wrote it, but it doesn't feel like that. Like, I see the story unfold as I write it too, because sometimes I don't know where things are going until the characters lead me there. And so there were just some really fun scenes between the two of them. And I always love those scenes. Like, whenever I'm rereading it, after I write it, and then I get the, like, giddy feeling, it's like, "Oh, I love this part." Um,
I can relate. I can relate. It's either that because you felt as if, oh, I'm a genius. Did I really write
yeah.
that?
And it's just like, and
Yeah.
I feel that way whenever I read other people's writing, and so to feel that way whenever I read something
Yeah.
I wrote is like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yay."
I do hear you.
Uh,
Absolutely. I absolutely understand that feeling when you think that's exceptionally good. Did I really write
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. I
Mm,
get you. And you said we've mentioned it before. The plans were there, they were also in your head, and you have to see where your characters lead you. Do they sit on
yeah.
your shoulder? Do they tell you, Twila, or was Chrissy like that, my dear? You have to write
Yeah.
my story, and on the other shoulder was Lily saying, now you also have to write my story. Did it feel a little bit like that?
It does. It's kind of, funny whenever you stop and think about it because it's like, I don't know, a little bit of it almost feels like you're schizophrenic or something because they feel real, the characters take on a mind of their own. And, like, there's times where I think the story is going one way, and I'll start a chapter
Mm,
ready to write one thing, and then I'm like, they're not reacting Like, I want them to react, they're reacting like they would. And so I have to just follow and try to make it work, I have to figure it out because this and book 1 was really bad about that,
Mm.
they had a mind of their own. But and then there's other times when, yeah, they don't leave me alone because there's been a couple nights where I cannot sleep until I jot down, what like their story that's going through my head. Like it will not be quiet. And so I'll have to get my phone out and type it up real quick and try not to look at the screen too much because it'll keep me awake longer. But you know, I they do. They kind of take on a mind of their own.
Yes, it happens that way. I absolutely understand it. And what about the other characters? You said her friend Ruth. Are these people? I mean, dear listeners, they are not
Yeah.
people, but you know what you know what we're talking about because it feels
Yeah.
to authors as if they're real people,
Yeah.
and for them they are real people. Um, do they come your way and say, "Hello, I'm here"? Does it also happen to you like that when you are in the flow, so to speak? Characters just pop up and you think, "Yeah, that's your friend Ruth. Haven't met her before, but here she is."
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Because like you'll just be writing and then it's like, well, they need a friend. And so then it just pops into my head. And it's kind of hard to explain sometimes because, well, in book 3, actually, one of the comments that my editor made was that Lily needed other people in her life. Like, we need a couple more people in the story because she starts out in a very lonely phase of her life. And so there weren't a lot of people around. And my editor's like, well, we need some more people. So then I just sit back and I was like, all right. So now these two characters exist. And I just kind of close my eyes and I can see them. And then they're in the story.
Is it also a question of needing other characters to flesh out your main character a little bit more? Because we are not lonely people, meaning we are social animals. So we
Hmm.
exist with others, not on our own. So more or less to make them three-dimensional, an author needs other characters to show their three
Yeah.
dimension, which hopefully characters always are. Not, I mean, would you say that's also the reason why books need more than just a few characters?
Yes, definitely. And I really think, um, well, that's why Chrissy even exists
Mm.
is, I needed something else to
Yeah,
happen,
yeah.
some other character to come in and breathe a little bit of life. And other characters are often a catalyst.
Mm.
They bring about uncomfortable situations or they force your main character to realize something about themselves or to change something about themselves. And so, for Chrissy, it was her friend Lily finally,
Mm.
coming back into her life. And that really helped her have kind of a safe area, which she really needed. But it also made her think about her issues with abandonment and, feeling alone and, letting people in. And it made her face that in a, I guess, less threatening way
Mhm.
because it was a friend rather than a romantic interest.
Yeah.
And without that letting more people in as a friend, I don't know if she would have gotten to the point of letting Adam in as a romantic interest.
Yeah, that makes
And
absolute sense, yeah.
yeah, and you got to have other characters, and that was one of the things that with book 3 when my editor said
Mm.
we need some more characters, and the ones I made were ones that make Lily confront how she sees herself and
Yeah.
her place in the world and her social circle. And So yeah, you gotta have some more people, unless the story is about someone in complete isolation, because like at the beginning of book 3, Lily is alone and there's only 3 characters in
Yeah.
the whole book. But
Yeah.
as things progress, she gets out in the world again.
That's an interesting development, or how she evolves as a character then, from being this
It-
lonely person with only 2 or 3 people, as you said, around her, and then
yeah.
having a larger acquaintanceship and so on. I mean, as you said, it shows more or less her step by step evolution as a character then.
Yeah. Yeah. They outside characters can really bring about growth. And
Yeah.
you can also flesh out their feelings about certain situations without having their love interest in the
Yeah.
scene, because and it helps it feel more authentic
Mhm.
instead of forced.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose it's also important when you wrote about addiction and recovery, because when people are in recovery or they do those programs, they're also often then together with other people with the same
Mhm.
problems or similar problems, and then they can act as a mirror sometimes.
Yeah.
You realize things about yourself when you hear other people's stories then.
Yeah. And that's also kind of like what I feel about my books. Because I've had people ask me, why do you include like such heavy topics in there? Why do you include addiction and recovery and mental health struggles and all of these things that a lot of people want to ignore? And my answer to that is that if it helps someone feel seen and it helps them feel like they're not alone, then that's worth it right there. It's worth all of the like late nights on the computer, and it's worth all of the like missing certain things so that I can finish the editing. And I've had people for each book so far, both 1 and 2, I've had people reach out to me and say that they felt seen by seeing characters going through something similar than them. And so, people need that connection in real life. So in a book, you have to have your characters have connections with similar people, connections with different people that can help shift their perspectives too. And so, yeah, I think that's a really important thing, and, other characters can help with that.
I absolutely agree. As you said, people feel seen, people can relate, because, I mean, that's
Mhm.
even more realistic than, you know, having known a serial killer, uh, having known having known people who have struggled with addiction. As I said, it was also a thing, so to speak, in my
Yeah,
of distant relation. Um, And it's a real thing, and as you said, it's a real thing,
yeah,
especially in your parts of the United States, and why not include it in a book? I mean, also,
yeah,
it it makes also for, as we said, three-dimensional characters, and interesting characters, and also an interesting story. I mean, I'm quite certain you didn't just do it for the story, but
yeah,
having characters and the troubles, it's what makes stories interesting, and it helps readers relate to your characters, which is also important, because if we have
yeah,
cardboard characters, mm, it's
yeah. No
uninteresting.
one's perfect, so the characters
Yes,
can't be perfect.
yes, exactly. I mean, picture perfect characters, that's what we get from Hollywood, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's not always, as you said, it's not always interesting when we watch
Yeah,
those shows or films. So we want, as we said, real life characters. Of course, they are not real
yeah.
people, but us.
They could be.
Yes, exactly. It could be you, it could be me, and it is relatable. People we know, and that's what makes it interesting. And also, we might learn a little bit about ourselves through books like yours,
Yeah.
won't we?
And it helps gain a different perspective. So maybe you see people in a different light.
Yeah.
Maybe someone used to judge people that were recovering addicts, but then,
Yeah.
you see it put in a good light in my book,
Yes.
and then maybe you don't judge them as harshly.
Exactly where they come from and how they got there. It's not being, as you said, being just judgmental.
Hmm.
Because if you're an
Yeah.
addict, it's your fault, and how could you? I mean, it's it's a wrong attitude, of course. I mean, yeah, things happen to people,
Hmm.
and people try to cope, and in their desperation, they sometimes use the wrong ways to cope. But who we are to
Yeah.
judge could
Yeah.
also
It could
happen to us.
happen to anybody.
Yes, exactly. I mean, as you said, addiction is not just substance abuse. Addiction can be everything.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and what about, may I ask you, you said you keep track of all the things you write of your characters and dates. And a question that has often been in a conversation recently, of course, is the use of the elephant in the room, AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
um,
as an independent author, it's also quite difficult to get everything done, having a daytime job, doing your marketing and whatnot. And is it a temptation, do you think? A bigger temptation sometimes? Is it for you? Have you thought about using it in one way or the other?
yeah, I think that it is very tempting, especially as far as making graphics
Mm,
and making videos.
mm,
And I'm sure you've seen AI flyers all over Facebook. I swear every
yeah,
flyer I see is AI anymore.
yeah.
And like I could see where, if you don't have the ability to make your own graphics, it would be very tempting because paying someone $15 every time you need a graphic of your book, like that can add up.
Mm.
And indie authors aren't exactly rolling in the dough. So, like, you can't really pay someone every time you need a picture of your book with a pretty background and words. Um, but personally, for me, I don't use AI
Mm.
for anything. Um, I've painstakingly spent hours trying to find pictures that on the free, stock photo sites and stuff, um, that are free use, meaning you don't have to, you can use them in advertising or anything
Mm.
like that.
Mm.
Like finding pictures of my characters
Yeah.
and finding pictures that would look good as a backdrop for an ad. I spend hours sometimes trying to find the right images. And I told myself with my next series, I'm going to find the images first and then base my characters off of those pictures. 'Cause that would make my life so much easier. But yeah, and I've learned how to, use Canva and
Mm.
like make my own little flyers, and they're not anything fancy, but they work. And I can say that it's mine. And the
Yeah.
last thing I would want is anybody starting a witch hunt and claiming that I use AI. So like I
Yeah.
stay away anything that looks like one of those AI flyers, I'm not using.
Yeah.
Um,
I do understand. And I mean, looking at the covers of your books, not just cover two, but also they are quite similar and they are distinctive. Because when you look at the most recent, especially young adult fiction, they all look the same.
mhm. Yeah.
Even here in our bookshops, we were the teacup and I went to a bookshop last week and just browsing. And we
Mhm.
went to the English speaking section, and they had all this young adults, romance, bromance, whatever they are called these days. You know,
Yeah.
uh, and you look at
Huh.
the covers, and they all look the same. The same color
Yeah.
scheme, the same sort of comic sort of depiction of characters. And we definitely found we are not the target group. Most definitely not.
Yeah. And book covers, it's really hard. I looked for inspiration because I wanted something that conveyed the romance
Yeah,
aspect, but also, they're not fluffy
yeah,
stories.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's some heavy things. So I needed like dramatic
yeah,
romance,
yeah.
and no shirtless men because
Oh
that
God.
wouldn't fit that wouldn't fit my, stories. Like they're not spicy. Um so, it was hard to try to narrow down, but I got really lucky with my cover designer, with my publisher. I get to fill out a form with, links to kind of similar books, like, covers that I like. And I really leaned heavily toward the watercolor, like dramatic,
Mhm.
kind of thing. And
Yeah,
she nailed it. So
yeah.
I
I
was
would
really
say so,
happy
yeah.
with it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, from a reader's point of view, I'd say I agree. Yeah. It's distinctive and it's not off the mill like all the others. So, yeah,
Mhm.
it absolutely stands out. It's also something as an indie author you have to do, don't you? Stand out. How are you
Yeah, and fit in
able to?
at the same
Yes,
time because you have to
yes,
fit in with your genre and your
yeah.
peers so people can look at it and be like, "That's a romance," or, "That's a thriller." But you also have to find some way to stand out, among the millions of other books that are out there. So, it's hard.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. And you said romance, but romance is only a part of it, isn't it? I mean, it is definitely a
Mhm.
romance, and it is, I mean,
Yeah.
pigeonholed. Of course, we do that, and it's necessary. Blah blah blah. But I would also say it's not just how that sounds again.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know
it's
what
it
you mean, though.
it
Yeah.
it's more than romance. It's about, as I said at the beginning, it's about the evolution of a character, more than one character, two
Yeah.
characters, and the evolution of them together as two
Mhm.
people together.
Yeah, and actually, whenever I first wrote book 1, one of the first things on my call with my publisher was they said that it was kind of women's fiction and romance, and so I needed to strengthen one side or the other. I either needed to amp up the romance or amp up, like, the women's fiction aspect of it, and at the time, I was personally like, I don't wanna be a romance writer just because of the stigma, that people have toward romance, and I was coming from a very serious nonfiction field of biomedical research. So, having people I already felt like I had people looking down on me for leaving that field, and so saying I write romance, it felt like I was gonna have more people look down on me. But I absolutely could not take the romance out of the book. Like, that was the part that I loved the most, and so I just had to get over that because I love romance. I read romance all the time, and that's what I write, and so I just had to make myself get over that, like, fear of people saying, "Oh, you went from biomedical research to just a romance author," That
Oh,
just
so bloody what? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, and, now I fully embrace it because everybody wants romance in their lives, like, or
So
I'll say
yes,
90% of people,
yes, yes,
want
yes.
romance in their lives,
Exactly, exactly.
whether they
And
wanna admit it or
yes,
not.
absolutely, that's absolutely true. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for science. I I
Yeah.
love to read science, I love to listen to scientists, but let's be honest here for a minute. When you write nonfiction as a scientist, and your name is Barbara Cartland, guess who earns more money? It's not so
Uh,
hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Daniel Steele and Barbara Cartland earned far more bloody money than, sorry to say that, dear scientists, it's fact. People love, as you said,
Yeah.
romance. People love to read this
Yeah.
kind of stories. People love to escape.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with that.
No, and especially, I mean, I don't know, after 2020, I think everybody needs an escape, you know? Like, it just seems like everything's been chaos, like, everywhere, so
Oh, yes, I suppose so. And sometimes, sorry, dear American friends, but I got the feeling that some of you also would love to escape since 2024.
There's so much unrest, right now. It's very stressful, and, there's so much infighting, and it just gets old. You know?
Yes,
If they
exactly.
could
And
work together, they could actually solve some problems.
yeah, you would think so. But unfortunately, it's the
Uh,
same everywhere. And you always think, oh,
yeah.
goodness, please just do your bloody job. That's what we pay you for.
Yes.
We pay
Yeah.
you. We, we the people. Your publisher said, as I mentioned, it's either or. Why does it have to be either or? Romance or women's fiction can be both. Uh, as you also said, and my other question is, since I've spoken to a lot of women's fiction authors, what is actually women's fiction then, per definition?
So, the the way I've seen people explain it, and at least especially with my publisher, romance the central storyline is the romance.
Of
The
women's
story
fiction.
is and for women's fiction, the central storyline, there can be romance in it. There usually is. But the central storyline is about that woman, the main character, overcoming something. It's her story, not necessarily their story together. Because with women's fiction, you could have some romance and then they don't get together, and that's fine. Um, or you don't even have to have a necessary main romance storyline
Mm.
in women's fiction either. So it depends on what the focus of the story is. And so whenever they were talking to me, they asked me to just give like two lines of what my story is about. And I said, it's about Arya and Luke like coming together. And they're like, okay, so it's romance. So you got to focus more in on the romance. And which, I mean, I didn't really have to change it that much.
Mm.
It's just dial back on some of the things outside of the romance that were happening. And I still have those chapters. I might release them as deleted scenes at some point because you never throw anything away. You never
Yes.
delete it permanently. You save everything. And so that's, for the other books, um, after I had admitted to myself that I was 100% a romance author
Mm.
and proud of it,
Mm.
then it was a little easier because I knew where the focus was for the
Yeah.
story, and it was
Yeah.
between the two
Yeah.
main characters.
Yeah. Okay. So does it also mean, at least from the publisher's point of view then? I'm not talking about the reader. I'm talking about the publisher's point of view, in your estimation, of course, because we can't look into a publisher's head. Does
Yeah.
it also mean that the audience is mainly female for women's fiction?
So, yeah, I think stereotypically,
Yeah.
women's fiction is,
Yeah.
it's women are probably 90% of the audience, if I had to guess. There are some men that read women's fiction, and there might be more, they just don't admit it, you know?
Yes. Probably. So,
Yeah,
gentlemen, it's time
so
to come out.
yeah. And I've actually had some men, read my book that have surprised me, but
Hmm.
I don't know if they necessarily would have read it if they didn't know me in some other aspect, but then they're like, "Oh, that was romance, but I actually liked it." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe you should keep a bit more open mind in the future."
Maybe also because it's not just romance. As we said, for book 2, it's not just romance. Romance is one aspect of your book. It's
Yeah.
more than that. It's way more than that.
And actually, I used that tagline. I saw it in a review of book 1, and
Hmm.
then someone had said it's more than a romance, and I used that in some of my advertising because I really I really like, in this I'm not against books that are only about the romance because I
Yeah.
devour those, and the movies.
Guilty as charged.
But yeah, but one thing that is key for an author is readers know what to expect
Hmm.
whenever they open one of your books. And so
Exactly.
I really want to get that across that if you're coming into my book looking for a sweet Hallmark romance, like, you're gonna be a little surprised. Like, there's romance, but there's definitely some non-Hallmark stuff, in there. And so I want people to know there's a lot more to my characters than just
Hmm.
who they kiss.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree. And I suppose also that's what makes it interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Hallmark watching,
Oh, yeah, I
after
love those,
after
especially
after
Christmas. I watch all the Christmas ones.
yeah, after a long day at work,
Uh,
just uh let's tune
yeah.
in and
I
just
start
forget
watching
about.
Hallmark Christmas, like, November 1st.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Uh,
we all have those guilty pleasures, don't we?
yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you also need a bit more than that. I mean, it's fine if there. I would say it's fine if there is a romance, or it turns out to be a romance. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
also fine if there's not, because we want to
yeah,
learn. We as readers, or I as reader, want to learn about the characters. Want to learn what made them who they are, about
mhm,
the past. Why are they the way they are? What is the reason?
yeah,
And what happened to them? And will they be able, in the course of the book, to overcome their past or come to terms with their past? Not overcome, you can't overcome what's already happened, but you can deal with it, you can live with it, you can
yeah,
learn from it, you can grow.
yeah, and you can overcome the feelings, brought about by your past because that was like, a lot of the times, with characters and in real life, people just need to get out of their own way, and get out of their own head for a little bit because sometimes what you think is a huge deal, isn't. And if the right person comes along, they're going to be able to love you despite anything that's happened in your past.
Yeah. And as you said, readers were wondering why you put in such heavy subjects and heavy things into it as addiction, mental health, and recovery. And as we said, I think it's important because that's what happens in real life. And
Yeah.
you can't constantly go on mollycoddling your readers, because when they go
Yeah.
out there, they have to deal with things like that.
Yeah. Real life is gritty. And so I
Yeah.
include that.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
And as I said, it makes your characters and their situations relatable.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're
And
not,
that was the goal,
yeah.
you know?
Yes, yeah,
Um,
absolutely agree. And that's what makes for an interesting read and why people come back to your books, I'd say.
yeah.
That's how your fan base works. They want to learn more, I suppose, about the nitty-gritty
Yeah.
and the not so nice aspects of life. And as we said, how to overcome or deal with
Yeah.
those things and grow and learn. I'd
And
say
I
that's
have, since I have books 3 and 4 coming out for this, and I'm kind of, I guess, at a crossroads. I'm trying to figure out what's next because I have the novellas that I could work on.
mm,
Um, but I also I have a lot of ideas for other series and other books, some standalones. Well, they're standalones for now, but who knows once I get to writing. I thought Piece by Piece would be a standalone, and it wasn't. So, and I do have one series idea where it's a group of sisters, and so each
Hmm.
book is, a different sister story,
Mm.
and it's a little lighter, it doesn't have as heavy of stuff, but they're each gonna have their own issues, and again, it's not gonna be completely fluffy, and completely bright and sunny. There's definitely gonna be some issues for each sister, but I I don't know. Right now, there's not as much, like, mental health stuff, and there's not addiction in it, but who knows? I haven't written the
Mm.
books completely yet, just
Yeah,
outlines, so
okay. You have outlined it. And will there also be
Uh,
romance or at least
yes.
women's fiction, or will there also be there's that's the crime fiction fan in me asking, will there also be something sinister in them?
Right now, everything that I have planned is either romance or women's fiction.
Ah.
Um, all the series are romance, and I have a standalone for women's fiction that I really like, and it does deal with mental health issues,
Mm,
but I'm not sure if I'm quite ready to write that one yet,
mm,
so
mm. I
Mm.
understand, but do you think it might need more research to do it justice then?
Um, it's possible, it's kind of based on that mental health struggle of being a mom
Mm,
and overwhelmed
mm,
and underappreciated, um, and I don't know, I'll have to go back. I had that idea probably 4 years ago, and I haven't really looked at it since then because I've been
mm.
focusing on getting the series out,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
Huh. But I wrote it, like, around the time that, well, I guess it was 5 years ago, around the time that I was coming out of my postpartum depression.
Mm,
So, it definitely
yeah,
deals with a lot of that kind of
yeah.
those feelings.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. So you have to be I suppose you have to be ready to
Yeah.
put it on paper. Yeah, yeah, absolutely
Mm.
understandable, of course. Yeah, yeah. Or not just make her mom, make her a teacher feeling underappreciated is
Yeah.
ordering bread. I mean,
Yeah, that would definitely be relatable for a lot of people.
yeah. Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I it's funny because I started out, writing, and I was just happy to have one book get published. And then now I have a series of 4 that and possibly 2 novellas, and then no one talks about, like, whenever you're done with the series, and then it's just kinda like, "What now?" I've been
Mm,
focusing on this series for years,
yeah.
and the thought of, like, I mean, I have plenty of ideas. I have a email folder where I email my ideas to myself so I don't lose them.
Mm,
And, I have probably 30 ideas in there, and that's some of them are series ideas. And so, ideas aren't the problem. It's deciding on, okay, what do I want to focus on for the next 5, 6 years?
yep.
It's a big decision.
Yes, yes. Because then you have to live
Uh,
with your characters for the next few years.
yeah.
And what if you
And
don't like them?
mentally, mentally, I'll be moving on, but I'll
Yeah.
still be editing this series and marketing
Mm.
this series. So, I got to split my time in between 2 worlds then.
I can imagine.
Uh,
And as I just put in between, I just was talking over you. Don't like them. Was there ever a character you didn't like?
well, in book 1, Arya's mom, I didn't like her. So, but that made writing her mom's storyline easy.
Hmm.
As far as main characters, um no, I haven't had any that I don't like. One, because if I don't like them, I just don't write them. because I have to spend so much time with them. I'm not going to do that with someone that I'm not a fan of. So I have to absolutely love the male characters.
Mm.
I have to be like, I would swoon over them in a movie or something, Like, I have to really like them, in order to write the stories. But usually this sounds terrible, but usually the characters I don't like don't make it to the end of the book necessarily, or, they exit one way or the
Yes.
other, so
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I suppose
Yeah.
as a romance writer, one has to at least your main characters. You
Yeah.
have to like them. I mean, it's not like Agatha
Yeah.
Christie, who didn't like Poirot, so it doesn't matter if you didn't like him, but she wrote him so fantastically. But as a romance writer, I suppose you have to, don't you?
Yeah, because you have to be rooting for them, or you're not
Yes.
gonna be able to
Yeah.
make your readers root
Yeah,
for them.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be believable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've read some and watched some movies where, I don't like the main character. Either I don't like the way they're acting in the movie, or I just get the wrong vibes, and it just kills
Yeah.
the entire thing for me. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to write that.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. You're like, oh, please, can we just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing with a series you have to be careful of, because I have some not really even side characters, just so book 4 is about Liam Worthington, who is a billionaire, and he's mentioned in books 1, 2, and 3. But I have to make sure that I don't make him a bad guy in any of those other books, or make him unlikable in any of those, because I'm going to write him later. So you got to keep that in mind too. Like, what am I going to do with this character in the future?
Mm.
Because, if I make people hate him in book 1, then I'm
Yeah.
screwed when it comes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a difficult one. Yeah, so you have to make him a nice billionaire,
Yeah.
unlike some real life billionaires. We all, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Twila, it was such a pleasure talking to you. Is there anything else you would like our listeners to know?
Well, I have a lot of stuff in the works right now. So if they want to keep on top of everything, I'm most active on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on all socials, all the main socials, but I mostly post on Facebook and Instagram. And I also have a newsletter, and you can sign up for that at my website, which is just twilamason.com. Nice and easy. And I also post updates on there. So, because I got a lot going on. And in my Facebook group, I have a group for readers. I tend to ask questions and ask for opinions. And so, as I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, I might be asking for opinions on what type of series people might like or something. So they might be able to have input on what I do.
Romance wise.
Yes.
Of course. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, dear listeners, now you know what it is all about. Go and buy your copy of Twila's books. You will not be disappointed, believe me.
Thank you.
Twila, it was a pleasure talking to you again. Absolutely.
Yep, I always have fun.
Same here. Please wait for me in the green room. I will be with you shortly.
All right.
Dear listeners, I do hope you enjoyed this episode as much as my guest and I did. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I do hope you will tune in for another episode, wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time.